What's up guys, Troy here, and today in Battlefield 3 My Thoughts we're talking about what I'd like to see in Battlefield 4, my own personal wish list. Now the gameplay you're watching is nothing too special, just some rush defense onto the lot market on the PC. Now on to what I'd like to see in Battlefield 4. I know most of what I want to see will probably never come to fruition, but damn it, I can sure dream. Now since the run-up to BF3, DICE made a habit of saying that esports will be our focus for Battlefield 3. Now if Battlefield 4 is going to have any sorts of esports support, then I think it's pretty much a necessity to include battle recorder and spectate mode. I'm thinking of just the free publicity that can come with battle recorder, just battle recorder alone. Players recording all those best only in Battlefield moments in all their glory. I can think of all the great only in Battlefield moments that have ended up on YouTube, and just think of the stuff that's happened that never had a chance to be recorded. And I think it's no excuse come Battlefield 4 not to include those. Now I understand that the big reason that's been alluded to of why they weren't included in Battlefield 3 is because they couldn't find a way to really implement it efficiently into the Frostbite 2.0 engine. Well, they've had months and months, and over a year, to work on Frostbite 2.0. There's no excuse not to include it on all forms of the game. I think it would just work so much better if they included it. Now on to my next topic on my wish list. The biggest problem I have right now with Battlefield 3 is suppression. And for Battlefield 4, I'd like to see it completely removed. Everything. Random bullet deviation, increased recoil, blurred screen, I'd like it all removed. I know a lot of people have no problem with the blurred screen, increased recoil. I do. I think it's a broken mechanic. It rewards people who can't aim. It's not a tactical element within the game. And I don't think it's fair when it comes to 1v1 situations. Now, I will compromise, because I don't think that they will completely remove it for Battlefield 4, but I will compromise for it to be a server-side option to be able to disable it, at least for unranked games, so it doesn't show up in competitive play. Now, on to the next thing I'd like to see. This has been a huge topic in Battlefield 3, is the rebalancing of the medic assault class. Now, in my personal opinion, assault rifles are not OP. Reviving isn't OP either, but them existing within the same class is what actually creates the problem. Now, we can't simply go back to Battlefield Bad Company 2. Why? Suppression. Things like suppression, the pro mechanic, I've explained all this in an earlier episode of Battlefield 3 My Thoughts. But there is another way to balance the medic and assault class that I think would work and would require more classes to be used on your average pub game. And that is to take the all-kits PDWs that exist right now as an all-kits weapon and spin them off into a 5th class as the medic class. So you'd have the assault class, your go-to anti-infantry class as the assault rifles. It has some type of extra equipment that you could use because they lose the med pack, they lose the defibs. Then you have the engineer with all its anti-tank and anti-vehicle capabilities. Of course, you'd have the support with the LMGs, the ammo box, and you'd have the recon the way it is now. Maybe buff the recon a little bit with some C4 or something. But then you'd have a 5th class as the medic class. They have the PTWs, they have the ammo kit, they have the defibrillators. So there's no combination of the best guns with some of the most useful equipment within the same class. Now you split them up. Now you have a choice. Do I want a better weapon, or do I want the ability to heal myself and revive my teammates when needed? I think that would work a lot better than keeping it the way it is now or going to the Bad Company 2 setup. Another thing I like to see is the return of finite ammo for vehicles. We have it for infantry. You have to rely on a support player for an ammo box to replenish your ammunition, so why not have it for vehicles? I say make it to where the engineer, as he reps a vehicle, gives a certain amount of ammo back to the vehicle. The older Battlefield games had it. I don't understand why they can't include it in newer Battlefield games. Now, I wanted to talk about maps as well. With Battlefield 3 and the DLCs, we got a decently wide variety of maps, but but it really relied on the fact that you had to buy the DLCs. In the base game itself, there wasn't too much of a wide variety. I'd like to see more variety in the base game. You don't have to rely on DLCs. Battlefield 3 has kind of gone on with this whole desert theme. It's mainly connected to the single-player aspect of the game. I understand that it takes place in the Middle East, so you're going to have desert maps and situations like that. But now on to the single-player. This is another big thing I had a problem with Battlefield 3. It was the standard ticking bomb, end-of-the-world type scenario that I thought was just a bore fest, in my opinion. I didn't like it, and I think it needs to go. And I think the co-op needs to go, too. There's only a couple of guns you can unlock with the co-op, and that was the only incentive to play. It gives you nothing else. I don't care about dog tags, so I'm not going to play co-op just to get dog tags. What I'd like to see is a return to the offline multiplayer bot mode that the older Battlefield games had. Why DICE decided to abandon the bot system when the Bad Company series rolled around, I don't understand. I really enjoyed playing that. It's great for trying out patches, going in, learning the maps. It would actually probably solve a problem if people took the initiative to do it. It would probably solve a problem of people who get into jets or choppers or certain vehicles, and they don't really have the proficiency to execute maneuvers and to really perform as well as they could if they had just taken the time to learn how those vehicles operate and how to use those vehicles proficiently in, say, the offline 64-player bot mode version. Don't understand why DICE has abandoned this. I really would love to see a return of that offline mode. That was certainly a big bonus of the older Battlefield games. Now, the last thing I would like to see is probably better engine optimization. Now, a lot of people talk about the engine itself, and they talk about how going from Bad Company 2 to Battlefield 3, they kind of downgraded the destruction a little bit, and that's true. And of course, I would like to see more destruction, but there's other things I'd like to see them do with this engine. One of the biggest things I'd like to see is maybe synchronize a lot better the first player and the first person and third person animations. We've all had those deaths before where we run around a corner or an enemy runs around a corner and he's in the middle of reloading his weapon, but he's able to shoot you simultaneously while reloading his weapon. It's just a simple mishap of the first player and first person and third person synchronization is not working. The animation is not being synchronized. I'd certainly like to see that. Support players firing the LMGs at their own toes and able to kill people. People bipoded up, tilted 45 degrees to the sky or 45 degrees to the ground. Figure out how to optimize the engine and work out those animations a lot better. I think would work a lot better in Battlefield 4. They've had this engine out for quite some time. It's been used for other games. I really don't think there's an excuse to tweak this engine and make it better than it is. It's one of the best engines out there, especially for depth of view, particle effects. It's one of the best. When you have the best, let's make it better. There's just no excuse in my opinion. Now, I understand that all these things are just my personal opinions on what I'd like to see in Battlefield 3, and I know or Battlefield 4, excuse me, and I know that not all of them will come to fruition, but you know, it's certainly what I'd like to see, and I think could make a great game even greater. Well, that's going to be it for me, guys. If you can think of what you'd like to see in Battlefield 4, I'd sure like to hear about it. What would you like to see? What do you think needs to be changed? Leave a comment, like, subscribe, you know, the usual. But that's going to be it for me, guys. And as always, I appreciate your support. Appreciate you watching the rest of the video. And thanks.